We got this big fifth wheel in here. I don't even know what brand it is. I don't know what brand, what model, what make, or anything. But to me, they're all the same anyways. Well, it's got that teddy bear on there. And boy, she doesn't like that at all. But nonetheless, let's go see what's going on with the roof. That's what it is right there. Cardinal or something. By Forest River. Alright, upstairs we go. Alright, so here's what we're looking at. Look at that shoulder. It's because they don't glue them down. They just put a couple of staples in those things. That's what causes those to fail. Because they're not glued. Okay. They just pin them with the staples, but well, the staples aren't even all that long. I mean, they're enough to grab, but on something like this, you need to have those glued. We glue them all down. We get that, and you can see we haven't got the covers off yet, but you can see how much they keep slobbering all this die-core. You can see there's already been a couple, or whatever it is. I'm assuming it's die-core. They've already put another lick on it. You can see they put another lick on it. You know, right there. Look at that plumbing already sacked down there. How does that breathe? You need some air up underneath there to breathe. So you're not gonna see how that's broke. So that water is gonna go down into the roof deck, and then it leaks everywhere. Well, you know what they say? Put some more on, moron! There's slobber in this stuff. That is their cash cow. That die-core, they just want you to keep pounding it on there. Just go. And like I said, it's their cash cow. There's no reason why you would have to go around every few months and do another application. That's crazy. And this is what happens to it. See these craters, some people call that gatoring. On a commercial land, that's called gatoring, like a tar and gravel or a built-up type roof, a bituminous type roof system. After the UV light sits on it, will cause these craters like that. And when you look at it, it looks like the back of an alligator, so they call it gatoring. The finer ones that happen on the roofing, I call it eggshelling only because it's so small it looks like eggshells, you know, from when you're trying to crack a hard-boiled egg and peel it. So, but this is what happens, and they want you to go around yet and reapply some more, you know, put more on, right? I mean, that's ridiculous. But what they do is they exploit people's ignorance to roof systems, and that's why they keep doing it. And people don't know any of you. You expect that somebody who's in the business is going to tell you something straight. They don't. They exploit you. So you don't need to keep going back and forth and keep putting this stuff on there, not if you do the roof the right way. So let me see what I do with that knife. But I come up here and I had to just get a measurement off of this thing because I'm trying to build some curves for it. But you can see, look how clean that is. I mean, that is fairly clean. And I'll bet if I take these screws out, they're going to be rusty. Because you can see that the water would probably get in there. Obviously they had some issues here because they started, you know, doing that. Putting more on. But, you know, it shouldn't, you shouldn't have it that clean. This is kind of stuck on here, but you'd be surprised the moisture droplets, see like that, and I'm not even pushing that hard, but the moisture droplets will get underneath there and then they'll travel, and that's all it takes. And then those chronic leaks are what cause the roof to fail. So if you have one of these antennas, right there is a sure leak right there. All that water going to go right down in there, and this is the boot for it right here. So if you have one, and what you do is load some booger on there, squash her down, and I'd put some on here if, you know, on here. So obviously you can see we got the ACs off, and we're gonna see what's going on underneath this thing. We're gonna check all the trunk lines and see what's up with it. So, and tear it all apart. But she is about failed. All these, look at this shoulder again right here. See it? Flexion right there. Because there's. And we're not going to be able to put this on in one piece. That isn't going to happen. And I'll tell you why. If you look at this roof, it goes and it drops down over there. It's got a slight camber right here. Come over this way. Look at this. Nose dives. Still got camber. Okay. So we get all that. Then when you go back down here to this ladder part, you know, where the ladder is, meaning the back end here where that AC is, it starts to level out, and then it gets more flat. So the roofing is pretty good stuff, but it wants to go 2-dimensional. It does not want to go 3-dimensional. And you're not going to be able to get it to dance that much. So chances are we're just going to come up to there, cut it, and then I'll heat weld another one on there. I've done that many a times. But this is a first. 2 refrigerators. I don't know, maybe this is a Nancy Pelosi deal, right? Didn't she have those 2 big huge freezers full of ice cream? I don't know. I'll have to check the work order, see who brought this in. Boy, I'd hate to text somebody with that, telling them they're a Pelosi. Gee whiz. Yeah. You don't keep customers that way, that's for sure. Anyhow, but that's, I've never seen two refrigerators here like that at all. So I'm gonna, they say there's 2 in there. I haven't even been in the coach, but there are 2 freezers or refrigerators in here. So let us get to work, tear it apart, and we'll let you know. Check this out. We haven't even taken that termination bar, that strip. We haven't even taken it off yet. You can see that big gap right there. They're not even screwed down, not reaching it or something. It's all poofy. Poofy is the word. Look at the size of that pipe set compared to the other ones I showed you up there. So, well, we're going to get it off here. We'll tear it all down. Protected all our awnings. I think we're going to replace a couple of these anyways, but still we protect them all. And if you ever have one of these covers, which I recommend because obviously you can open a vent up in the rain, you don't seal them up. We've seen some that someone actually puts caulking all around there because they think it's leaking. But then what happens, all the water that does get in there gets trapped in there and it makes things worse. So you don't do that. Take that off and you have to figure out what the problem is. Those should be loose where water can flow out of them underneath it. Alright, so we had to take the shell off. Here's the shell, front fascia. There's some rot up inside here. There's some rot right there, but there's a piece of framing there. That's why I had to get that off so I could get at this. So I can get in there, but there's a piece of framing right up inside here that I got to get at. So we had to take those pieces down, take that down, and we're going to try and negotiate this, see what we can do to get in there. The door is rotted over on this other side. It's rotted over here. It's fluffy. Got some fluffage. So what we're going to have to do is glue every one of these right back together. We're going to take a pair of tweezers, open it up, put some glue in it, squeeze it. Open that up, put a glue in there, go squeeze it. That's what we got to do. I think we're going to have to like replace the whole piece. Alright, that's what we're working on. Plus we got Delam on the other side, around, down. Got a water heater. We got some Delam down underneath this refrigerator vent, and then way down the end where the plug is, that window down there. That's all rotted. Yes, that's what we're looking at to figure out what is going on. We will keep you posted with more fine video footage of this mess. Well, you see we got the shell off. I think I already showed that. And then what we're trying to do is assess exactly how bad this damage is. And you can see all that's rotted in there. Up underneath there concerns me the most. That is the most. I've already dug this out. Look at my little flashlight here. See if I can do this. Oh. Sorry there. Let me see if I can get the light in there. Look at that. I'll try it this way, see if that'll work. So what I did, I poked in here, and this is the piece, this is the frame underneath the slide out. And the problem is it's still wet, and as I poked it with this center punch, you can still see moisture in it. Maybe I zoom up a little bit.
You can still see that little bit of moisture in there. See it? That is all mush. Which I really don't want to take the slide out. But that's that main piece underneath there. I want to see how far it goes and if I can dig it out. I don't know. I'm gonna keep investigating. But so we got that, and then we got some more down here. We had to take all the doors off and everything, because this here isn't that easy of a fix. Down inside here, this all, and I'd have to cut this to show you, but it's all delaminated inside there. So there's no way to get it all back together. You see these guys up on YouTube go, oh, all you have to do is pour epoxy in it. It's not going to bond rotted wood back together. It just isn't going to happen. And then it'll drool down so bad and it'll get lumpy. You may see a lump in there. It doesn't come back right. We've done a few. We got lucky on them when there were just a couple little spots here and there. But when you got a big section like this, that's why I drew this out, because what I was trying to do with that blue line is I'm trying to see if when I make a cut, I can make it so it will accommodate a decal. So then we can fix it, epoxy this fiberglass back together after we make the cut, and then you can get a decal to wrap over there, and then, you know, saves from having to paint something, that's for sure. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure this whole thing out, how we're going to go about it. Oh, you can see all the rot we got. Loads of it. We're going to see how far it goes over this way. I don't know. There's a propane tank door. So, well, obviously it's rotted here. It looks like it was wicking up. Like water got down inside this molding and just started wicking up, because you can see how it kind of stopped right there. So we're going to obviously get rid of all that nonsense, and then we're going to try and get this piece out. See how lucky we get without taking the slide out. Oh.
All right, back to our slide out. This isn't the structural piece. This is your structure right here. This piece is just a filler piece. But one of the other problems that the customer had mentioned was that the slide out doesn't come out, and he thought maybe the awning was hanging it up there. And he said he always had to push on it. We put a level on this, and it was leaning back towards the rear 3/8 of an inch. Couldn't figure out where it was. We're looking at everything, put a level on it, couldn't figure anything out. So I said, man, that just doesn't make sense. Why is it leaning? So we made sure that the coach was level. Right, so we got the coach level. Everything's right. Where the heck is that 3/8 of an inch? So I got curious, and I'm looking at all the framing up in here, up in here, up in here, and up in here. Now look at this. What is that? So we're gonna find my fancy dancy flashlight here. It's just a scab piece of wood in there. See that little piece of plywood? That's all it is. So it's like, why is there a piece of plywood there? And then you come over here, and if you look, that's a piece of 2x stock in there. See, that's thicker. Why'd they put that little piece in there? So I got even more curious. Took all the staples out. Look at there. The weight of this edge right here on the wall is sitting right here. This bows. See? This is bowing. The weight is right here on the wall. Right here where I got my jack to level it up. There's a 3/8 of an inch right there. I said, well, let's make sure it is. So I went and I got a piece of 3/8 plywood. And it fits in there absolutely perfect. Look at there. So I'm going to put this in. I'm going to shim it up. And then we got that much done. But what I want to make sure now is that this piece doesn't come loose. All right. So I'm going to put a piece of steel in there. And I'm going to wrap it in there. And I'm going to screw it all together. And, you know, basically plate it all together. And that'll bridge all that up and keep it nice. And that should take out our 3/8. And hopefully this thing will glide and slide better, you know, without having to be in cockeyed. Because when it rolls out, you know, none of these things roll out smooth. They always kind of, you know, as a rule, they're kind of moving around a little bit, maybe teeter-tottering. So that's our problem, though. There's our 3/8. So we are going to fix that 3/8, and then hopefully this thing will work better. And then I'm also going to investigate the awning arms, because the awning arms this one in here looks like it is extremely long. And if you look at the end right here where it goes, like this is extended almost max. And I don't know if you can really see it from here, but if you look, that rail kind of looks like it's going this way, meaning it's getting taxed out. from trying to get pulled. The tension on the actual fabric and the spring assembly is taxing the arm, so it's causing it to bow. So I'll have to figure out another deal with that, and I'll get to that afterwards. But let me straighten this out one thing at a time. Let's get the thing to roll right, and then I'll go up there and prevent it from sticking. So that's how we're gonna fix this. I'm glad I found it because I've been stewing over this thing. And when I saw this, there was obviously you see all the staples. Well, there's staples in there, but you see the carpet rolling over. You can't see what's going on in there. So, you know, and it runs all the way down through here. This is all solid stock except for that little crumb piece. I don't know why they put that in. Why they just wouldn't put a whole piece in. So this here is not a big deal. We can fill all this in, I mean, up against the frame. But I also got some rod underneath here, which is probably some mounts. That's solid stock. There's probably some stuff inside that gets screwed to it, I'm sure. And then even on this one here, come around right here, I got to make sure I have that porthole for the, I believe that's for the, that may operate something in there. I can feel something in there. It wouldn't operate the jacks because they're right there, but I can feel some metal. I don't know what that's probably for a light. Now that I think about it, that's what that is, probably for a light. So we'll figure all this out, and we'll get it put back together that proper way. We gotta get a new gasket, and I'm probably gonna put a piece of counter flash up underneath there, on the under the carpet, but underneath or something to prevent any water from getting back and trickling forward. And I may have to fix this because I want to make sure that water doesn't run down here and go back into the coach. So I may change that piece and the other piece on the other side, and that'll be another fabrication piece I'll have to do. But it'll work pretty good. All right, so let me get to work and start talking. Blah blah blah. Too much blah blah blah. Well, we're starting to take the roof off here. Quiet on the set. This is a serious production right here. A one-man camera deal. All right, so we had some squirrels getting in on some of this stuff. When we get that all up, we'll show you. But we got some rot right here. This I think was a vent. And then we got another AC up there, but we're going to take all of that up because, you know, since there were some squirrels in there, one, I want to check the insulation. I want to make sure there's no feces or anything in there. That's one. Two, I want to make sure there's nothing that wasn't able to get out that still may be hiding in there. So we'll make sure we don't have any dead critters in there. The other thing we want to do is we want to check all those trunk lines. We want to check those, and we want to check the wires where they clump through the wall. So there's quite a few things you want to check, and once we get all this lifted off of here, it's not glued down, and this is super soft back here. So we had one guy standing on there, and it was just bouncing back and forth. So we want to also see, we only have one truss here to try to carry an air conditioner. That's not going to probably be enough. We may have to put another truss in there or somehow strengthen it up. So, but that's where we're at right now. And we will keep you posted with more to come. Look at all this mess. Those damn squirrels. They had a feast. More up here. We want to check these wires. We'll get rid of all this insulation. Look at all that. Got to check every single wire all the way up in here. Look at this. All the way up in here. Who knows what we'll find. We haven't even got the rest of it yet. We're just trying to pop her loose. They had it screwed down, but they didn't have it glued down. So you see a couple of screw holes here. Here. Next one's up there. And there was one right there that tipped the edge. You can't put too many screws in these anyways, because if you do, you just split the truss. So gotta stable these down. Alright, then over here I was talking about where the air conditioner is. All you got is one on each side, so I got to get another truss in this because it's going to bounce too much. It's not going to be able to handle the weight, so that's what we got to look at right now. Look at there, what we got? Corn! Oh, they were feasting. Like a Thanksgiving dinner up here. Wow. This is why we pull it up. We want to check all these trunk lines, like I said. You can see that galley right there that they were going in. You know, you see all this. I'm sure there's feces in here. You gotta get all that crap out of here.
Look, holes in the ductwork.
Got some holes in the ductwork?
Yeah. Hole in the ductwork
Look at that one there. I'll go around the other side.
big ass load.
That could be interpreted a different way. Oh wow. Get over here. Now we gotta take the AC duct line apart because we gotta see what's inside that. Lots of work, lots of work. Imagine spraying over this. Hey, I got a leak. Could you just spray over this? Spray over all this trash and everything. Hey, I can't feel my new air conditioner that you just installed. Yeah, that's because there's a big hole right there. So, all right, well, we're working at it. All right, we got some of the mess cleaned up here. Vacuum as much as we can. We're gonna have to probably get something in there, get that a little better. We got a brush right here. But it is a mess. You can see, look at that hole they put right there. Yeah. So then what we want to do is check these. See, we got a hole right here. That's what we're checking for as well. Besides that big one that he made. So. Look what we got here. Ta-da! That's why we want to take all this crap up and redo it. You don't want, obviously you don't want that in there. Man, the whole thing is all the way through. Boy, they must have really been pissed off when they got evicted somehow. Look at all this mess. But we got, like I said, we got to clean it all up. And then I got to get some sanitizer up on here. You know, just from this stuff sitting here. So, where'd you find those wires?
That's what I'm looking for. I'm trying
Okay,
to
well,
remember.
when you find them, let me know. Where are they?
See right there, there's two chewed and two down there.
You got a little bit of chewage here. You got a couple down here?
There's one chewed plumb in two. I've got
Oh, all right. Then we know that we look at some of these trusses. These are little gusset plates. These ones are broke right here. That's where he carries the air conditioner. This one is broke too on the other side of the air conditioner right here. So we have to get them fixed. And then oh, looky there. They chewed it. That almost looks like that was a clean chew. Yeah, they don't match up. They weren't cut that way. Yeah, well, they got sharp teeth. I think they make squirrel pliers because they're so sharp. They call them squirrel pliers. I don't make this stuff up. So, like I said, besides all this, we're going to be looking for, you know, all the where the trunk lines meet. So you got another one right here. Looking for that. We're watching all these wires. You know, look at there. That's your 120 line right there, and that is bare right there. You can see it's bare right there. So we got to fix that. So we're going like over inch by inch to try to make sure every wire that we can possibly see. We want to make sure we don't have a ferrule in here that's going to be real sharp on the wire. Even though they got the sealant on there, I don't see a ferrule in there. So a ferrule is just a metal plate. So they probably didn't put it in here because it's not that close to the outside edge. Normally though, if they have it coming out here, they want to make sure when they put a fastener through here, a screw or whatever, that it doesn't go into the wire. But they don't ever protect the ferrule from the wire with another plastic bushing. But man, we get into some stuff here and people say, hey, when you got to my coach? No, I don't know. As soon as I get done with this one, we get to the next one. No, we don't rush them out for the sake of just getting another one in here. And this is going to be a little time consuming, looking over all of these wires just to make sure they're all good, because we got to get up there, we got to make sure, you know, follow this wire and just like look at every single wire as you go along. You know, like I said, we definitely got to get some sanitizer up here, that's for sure. I'm gonna go hump that down real soon, so probably as soon as I shut this camera off. But what a mess. This is probably I've never had a camper in here with this much like rodent squirrel damage like this ever. This is the first one with this kind of damage. We had one in here that had a rat's nest behind a slide out on the inside. We had that, but we never had even with that rat in there, we didn't have nearly this damage. We've had a couple of mice. We've had some with mice. Had some with some bugs and ants and stuff like that. There was one, I think it was a Viking we did. Yeah, it had some carpenter ants in it. So that one was bad. You can kind of see the sag in that one over there. It's got a little, just a bit right over there. So, all right, well, let me find that cleaner because we need to spray it, and then we got, like I say, get these wires back together and keep hunting it down. Look at here. We got that hole that we had, like that one over there. Look at it, they chewed all the way to the bottom.
That's the way it was. That's what's underneath.
They chewed the whole bottom of it. So now my concern is, I don't see anything on here, but I don't know if there's any, you know, piss or crap in there at all or anything. So we're gonna probably have to open up this ductwork just to be sure. Man, that's gonna be a lot of work. Wow. I mean, who wants to find out after the fact that, you know, they maybe got another dead squirrel in there somewhere? Who knows? We don't know. We're gonna have to open it all up, find out before we close this up. Because that would just, imagine having all that cold air blowing down in here over a dead squirrel or feces or, you know, urine, all that stuff. The piss and crap and shit on here. Damn. And the irony to this is, I believe the guy said he just needed a room to ReDeck. If my memory serves me right, I need a room to ReDeck. Okay. Yeah. Need a roof and a ReDeck, AC ducts, and you've got Delam on the other side. You got the slide out cockeyed. But we'll get it. We'll get it. We got a broken truss over here. The knot had broke. I just saw it too. Is it that one there that's broke right at the knot? There's one broke at the knot. I just saw it.
Is it?
The truss. One of them was broke. Is it up there? I thought it was just around here. The knot was a knot, and the knot had, oh, here it is right there. Got a knot right there. I don't know why they would have used a board like that, but. And I showed you some of the broken trusses we got. Got to make a couple new ones for that back AC. And then they chewed the bejesus out of this thermostat wire. Let's fix that. And then there's about five or so right here. Is that how many you got? Five? Got five we got to do right here. And then there's another one down here.
That's 6, I'm sorry.
There's 6 over there. Here's another one. Look at there. Chewed this one. We gotta fix that. There's quite a few. Quite a few. I don't know. I'm really tempted to try to see if I can wash this roof down. Really would like to. Because like I said, I got that concern with the trunk line. You see it right there. You can see the whole underside. See if I can get the camera underneath there. The whole underside. They chewed all that too. Ooh, whiz. It looks so cute in your yard. Come here, you little SOB. I have you for lunch. That's what I'd like to try to do, and we're going to probably give it the old college try to see if that's possible to wash some of this up. See if it will come up. We've already bleached it. We're probably going to have to bleach it again. But I want to make sure everything's all set before we just say, yeah, here's your coach back, you know. Oh, we already got this one we fixed here and put some heat shrink on it and everything and got that fixed. And so that's what we're doing. Wire by wire. Very time consuming. Alright, so we're checking all the AC. We had some coax cables over here that are chewed through as well. And then now what we're doing is trying to make some repairs here. There's a couple more around the refrigerator vent up there. Got a couple of cracked ones. We got this one that's cracked here. So we got to get that one fixed. Another one here that we got to fix. And now what we're doing is we're trying to get some of this filth out of here. We've already bleached it, but now we're trying to actually wipe it to see. I don't want any, like you said, any squirrel shit or piss all over this thing. So we're trying to do the best we can to clean it all up. You know, I know some of this is from those chestnuts. They just stain terribly, but I still want to be sure that there's no, you know, any feces or anything like that in here. So you can see we still got to put in the trunk line there. Got to fix this one here. We haven't gotten it, so I'm just kind of giving an update on us actually cleaning. We're kind of washing this all down. Obviously, next step is once we make the repairs, insulation and so forth. So, all right,
Look how much this thing has dropped.
1.5 inches. See if I can zoom in on it for you. 1.5 inches. So. That's how we got this new truss. We're going to carry it and we're going to sister it beside the other one. Well, look at this fine mess. We're now going to take out the 3 panels. This is uno, dos, tres. You can see it's all rotted anyways. So that's what we're working on. And we just had to cut the trusses out. We didn't want to cut these wires. We're going to have to finagle this bagel, that's for sure. That's the mess we got. So, bar. Yeah, Zooks. Some of the stuff we run into. Well, we're starting to set in our ceiling panels. We do them from the top, and we have to kind of get them all finagled up underneath all of this stuff. There's the ceiling panels we're setting in, and like I said, we got to get them all up underneath here. There's one right there. We're gonna have to slide it in because you got all this molding and everything. And all this molding, if you don't do it that way, you'd have to put all new molding all around the cabinets if you tried to cut it out there, because you're never gonna make a perfect cut like that. So we're just gonna drop them in this way and we'll put the trusses on. All right, well, we're gonna start making some new shoulders. That's what this piece is all about. We doubled up the strength on the air conditioner on both of them. I'll show you all the framing we've done. Then, I guess when they laid this roof out, somebody made a mark over here, somebody made a mark over there. When they were assembling it, the person that was on this side thought that the line was the center, and the person over there thought the line was the edge. So they started to all walk off about 3/4 of an inch. Most of them. Not every single one. I don't know, maybe they just weren't paying attention. So that's why we got these in here. These are going to be our break points so we get the plywood to land. We got all that, we vacuumed it up, fixing up all the duct work right now, making sure everything's all set. And then the other thing that I did, they didn't have these screwed down, these trusses. They didn't have them screwed to the frame. Here's your frame down here. So I didn't like that. Obviously I screwed them all back down in there. And they also had a real short piece here is what you call the band. You know, the band or the ribbon joist is what connects all these together, right? So they had that, and they just had a couple staples shot in every one. That's it. And they had some sporadic screws going through to hold this piece down. I didn't like that either, so I use these nice big screws that'll go down. This aluminum that's in here is really a light alloy. You need a really heavy force screw to get a good thread into it. So we did that. And then what we did is we wanted to go back and put screws in every one of them. So I got it screwed here, and I got it screwed here, and I got this holding this all down. And then I put one on this side to carry this, and this one to carry that one. That's how we did them all. So we're moving along, and we're getting everything all squared away in that sense. So we had some wires that were compromised, like that right there. And what we did is we soldered them all together, got the joints back together, and we put heat shrink on them. That's all we can do. We got that squared away. And then all of them like that were compromised that the squirrels ate up. Here's another one right here. So this is actually a coax joint that we put together, and then we heat shrunk it back together too. So we get that, so it just the joint don't break. This is a refrigerator, it's got a double refrigerator in here. And so obviously all the panels, you can see all the new framing we did. Framed out everything, but built all new trusses, got them all cut and everything. And here's another piece, because like I said, it doesn't want to lay out. But this one here in particular is where these two pieces come together, meaning the ceiling panels. And we have to keep this here. We couldn't move this one because then we wouldn't have that piece in there. There's a track in there where the insert trim snaps in. It's a basically like a barb T type of insert that goes in for trim. So we had to keep that there. We had no choice, so we had to move that over. And then we're gonna get some bushings on here. We're gonna do that. We're gonna need to get bushings on here on these ferrules. Okay, he's nodding his head. Good deal. And then other than that, we're about ready to go. So we're gonna get the insulation on this one. We're gonna use blown-in insulation. That's what we're gonna use. The way things are with the way the materials are, but the blown-in insulation, you know, obviously we're not gonna blow it in. We're just gonna lay it in there, but it'll get up underneath the duct work, and we can also get a nice layer on top of the duct work. So their duct work, when they had it, it was, see if I get down here. This particular one, they had traveling all the way up here. It didn't make any sense because there's your last duct. So this one, it just comes out from the air conditioner there and it services these. There's a couple of ducts there. There's one there that I just showed you, and there's another one right there. You can see it better, there you go. So you can see all that, see those two. So we didn't need all that duct work, so that was a plus. So that's why we just terminated it there. Other than that, I think we're about ready to go. We're about ready to, like I said, just doing the final licks on it with that, and then we'll get the insulation in here. So when we take everything apart, everything's all labeled. We label every single wire if we have to take it out where it's going. Like this one is medicine cabinets. That's what this says, medicine cabinets, because you'll have wires everywhere. So we want to make sure we're putting them all back together. So I think we got to fix it. We got this one right here we're going to fix. We got to fix that real quick, and that's about us. So there's a couple of things here. I'm probably a little ahead of these guys videoing it, you know, prior to them having everything ready, obviously, because I got the ferrules to do and I got that other piece to do. And then see how we doubled up this one as well. Because these air conditioners, I want to make sure that they got some good stock and strength on them. And these things I don't know, they seem to wear out or get all saggy. And some of them, when they start shooting, that's why you don't want to use nails. You start putting all those nails in there, you're going to just split that wood. You don't want to nail them. You got to staple all this down. It'll just, like I said, it'll split a lot of them. So let's get that one there, and then, like I said, we'll get back with it and get some decking on here. See what happens with these wires. These ferrules, these are called ferrules. These metal, get my fingers out of the way. These metal pieces, those are called ferrules, and they're sharp on the inside. Let's see if I can show you. Maybe I zoom up on that. See how it's starting to wear into the wire? That's why we do them. You need to put those in there. Those are actually code. It's code. Like on a commercial and residential, that's code. So obviously I got one in there, getting that one in there. I think those are the only two. Everything else, it just really comes up from here and it comes up from this hole, but there's nothing here. That's all wood, so that's okay. But I will double check around the other side, but I see something over there, so I'll go double check all that too, and then if it needs it, we'll put them in over there for sure. And then right now we're putting in our little piece right here. We're putting that in there, so we have some fix that stock, and I think that was the last of what we needed to fix and get that squared away. Like I say, everything else all duct taped up, and like I said, I'm trying to fabricate some new shoulders. I'm going to use some heavy gauge aluminum on here. We'll get those on here in a minute as soon as I make them all up. So I'm pretty sure that's the last of it. Yep. All right. So I come on over, and I got these ones here. The ones I was showing you just on the last clip. I come on over and put one in there, and then I put one in there too. So I think, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's the finale of it. That goes through a hole right there, so that one's good. And there you got there's a big cutout here, and that's see, this is what we did. We spliced it all back together, and then we just got it all tight. That's the best we could do. They chewed all the wires. Do that, we have to try and take out all this electrical, and that's really not necessary. You know, that'll be just fine. All right, so that's us. Cool. We're gonna throw some insulation in this thing and get a deck on her. Let's see, he shrunk all these too. All right, look at us. We've got this thing stuffed. That looks good. That's nice and tight. Get it covered over all your ductwork and everything that was over here. Keeps it nice and basically you want to try to keep as much heat off of there because you're cold there. You don't want to create a condensation issue. So we also tucked it all up underneath there. So now what we're doing is stapling her down, glue and staple. It's all the booger we put in here. Load her up. We're going to staple it all down, and we're good to go. Keep coming together. So I'm fabricating up the new shoulders. That's what I'm doing now. Then this is a fireproof type. You know, they don't make any of this now anymore that isn't fireproof. But I showed it before on there that this is fireproof. On another one we did. I kind of like this insulation better myself, but it won't burn. It just won't burn. You can't light it. It won't ignite up. It's got some chemical in it, some fire retardant. Obviously, I don't know the actual name of the chemical. but it won't even go. It's not even hot. So it's good stuff. Good stuff. I like it. I'd use it in mine if I had one, but I don't have one. I don't own one. I have enough. All the time I have, I'm working on these. All right, well, let's get that deck down. We're gonna get the roof on. I got shoulders going on and so forth. So I mean, we're trying to pull it together. We still got a little bit of Delam on this side we got to fix, and also around the front. The slide out, we did get that adjusted. That 3/8 I was talking about did make a difference. The slide works much better now. It doesn't get hung up, and all it was 3/8 of an inch off. But it took a little bit to find it too, though. But nonetheless, let's get to work. All that glue onto there. Yeah. So we got new radius going on here. We fabricated these up. Then that joint right there, we're going to tighten that one up a little bit. But what I really wanted to show, and this was a common problem we get in the shop a lot, is that when they do these shoulders at the factory, all they do is staple them down. But then over time, when the thing is racking, twisting, flexing, and all that jazz, they loosen up. And a lot of people, they'll go up there and they'll push on them. They'll feel that thing all ready to come loose, and it'll actually be under the membrane. But like I said, we glued it all. You can see all the glue there. That's important. You have to put that on there. So, and like I said, any of these other ones, we're going to clean them up, make sure they're, you know, they're good, that they won't compromise roofing, of course. This is a jig that I made that holds the shape of it, see? That's what it does. Holds the shape, and you can slam it right in there and keep the shape nice. You can see all the glue that I used right here, this adhesive. So I get that all on there. Then I'm gonna get that shoulder on there. When I put that shoulder back on, then like you said, I use this jig right here. I've probably got, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 of those jigs that I made, because a lot of them, they're different. Not every one's the same. So then once I find out over the years, I've just realized it's just much easier to just keep making them, because I'll come across one on the next one, right? So now the problem that we did is we cut this back here. We did glue this originally, but the problem is the plywood sticks out just way too much, and that radius, when it wants to come around, it was hitting it, and it just wasn't seating right. So I just had to make a chamfer under there and take off about 1 inch or so, 30 millimeters if you want to be exact. But anyhow, we're going to get this shoulder on. We've got the driver's side, we've already got it glued, and now what we're doing is rolling it out with that big heavy roller. And then we're going to do the other one. Now this roof is so big, and it's got so many transitions. It comes up, then it comes up, and then it drops right in the front. So we're going to have to put another piece, and we'll heat weld the front one. So it'll be about a 4-foot piece that we're going to have to heat weld into the main roof. So that's the only way you could do it, because if not, like we've got these little ripples here, he's going to get those with the roller. That'll come out, but they'll be so bad if we had it one piece, you're not getting them out. We've done too many of these where it just doesn't happen. We've argued with it several different ways, and it ain't gonna work, because you get camber, and you're going up, then you're going up again. You know, as this is going, you can see, I don't know if you can see it from here, but the roof, like you said, comes up, and then it kind of does another tier, and then it drops off. So you're asking that this really doesn't want to do that. I mean, it's two-dimensional. So this already, the camber is one, then we get the flat, and yet it goes up to that other one, and it's got yet another angle to deal with. And those transitions, those margins of error that are in the roofing and everything have to go somewhere, and they'll show up as, you know, basically bubbles or heaves or whatever you want to call them. So on the side, we may have to do, you'll see it puckers over here, and we may have to do a fold on it. I may do a fold and weld it right here. I got to see how good or bad it lays, you know. But this one, see how aggressive it is right here. That's what you have to do to this. So I'm going to have to, once he gets all these out, then we'll bring it together, and then I heat it and I fold it and I'll flap it over. But this one, see the front, that drops off pretty good in the front. It really slopes down quite a bit, and you're not going to be able to get that piece in there. You'd have an incredible, basically these, in the industry we call them fish mouths, but that you'd have a bad one up there, and it just would not lay right. If it was one piece. When I put these other two pieces, I still may have it, but it'll be minimal now. So you got to imagine all this margin for error is going to get absorbed in the sheet somewhere. The more transitions and the more dimensions you want it to do, it's going to go somewhere. So you just have to choose where you're going to put it. Like I said, we'll bring this other one right here. It's about a 4-footer. We'll bring that one, and I'll lap it over 4 inches, and then I'm going to weld the whole thing together. Oh, you can see we already got all our shoulders on. We got all that done. So those look really nice. Okay, I meant to get a video on all of this, but what we did was all the framing that's right in here, all the framing going across. These two pieces, there was a piece on the top, there's a piece on the bottom here. We screwed all them together. And then these here, we screwed back into those. Then we screwed them down into here. So we got everything all screwed in, screwed together. And then after we got that done, we filled all these cavities, the little bays, if you want to call them. We filled them with what's a piece of rigid foam, which is right here. So we cut this up to fit inside there and glued it in. Gives it a little bit more strength. And then we glued on all around it with some foam to make sure it would stay nice and tight. And then we glued this on to give it a little bit of strength on the racking of it. So that's all we did. I was trying to get a video on it, but this guy, boy, he's doing a good job, and he just ran away with it. And by the time I realized, I was like, heck, I didn't get a video on this. Now what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the shell on. And obviously we got the fork truck there. We're gonna raise her up and put her on there. And throw a couple roofing nails on the side. I don't know, maybe that'll work. Maybe one big one in the middle to cover the teddy bear. All right, over here on the, this is the driver's side rear. We had some Delam in here, like right here, we put a mark. And we were hoping that we could just fix that. You know, maybe do a pour behind it. That's what we were hoping for. But you can see it's all Delammed. You know, it's like literally Delammed. Now there's different types of Delam, but the plywood is actually delaminated. So we got to take all this out as far back as we can. That's why we had to take this piece off as well. So we get that one, and then on the other side, we've got another issue. I think we got, there's yellow tape. I don't know, it might have been, there's a marker for something else. But on the other side, we'll go around. We've got more. We've got this section here we got to do, and I don't know how good the sheathing is underneath there. Sometimes we can get lucky and do a pour behind there, but if it's all Delam like that, what happens on a situation like that, if you don't put fresh stock in it, then the epoxy will get hung up basically on the particles of the delaminated plywood, and then when it starts oozing down the wall, it would actually cause a lump. It would push out. So we have to replace that. We already got this section right here fixed in the front. We got that lid on there, the front fascia right there, the teddy bear thing. And then we got another issue here. We're going to see if we're going to inspect that as well. But some of this Delam isn't quite as easy as just doing a simple pour. So this here, right from that yellow line, that X over there, all the way over and then down. So we got to work with this and try and get that bracket out of there. So we already just took off this piece. So this is turning out to be a little bit more than what even we expected. And it just happens. But we're finding more and more where we didn't know it was there, and more problems behind it. So we're going to investigate this as well. All right, so we got some new, open that up a little bit so we show the, there we go, we got new stock in there. Then we also put new stock in this piece here. That was all rotted. You can see that fresh piece right up underneath there. We already got it glued though, but so that's what we're doing. Now we're going to re-adhere everything on this, and we just keep moving along and trying to get it all back together. Teddy bear is going home. All right, so this is one of the things we did right here. It got a nice angle to it. So when the water comes down, we did them to all the slide outs. So the water comes in here, because it's going to get blowing rain and everything. It's inevitable. But I want to make sure it's going to go this way instead of that way and rot out a floor. So they got them on this one, got them on the other one. Like I said, they're all done that way. So that's about it so far. And I'm going to get up there and I'll do a video on the roof here in a minute. You know, we'll get that done. We are finally done with our teddy bear. It should be squirrel invasion here. So we got our logo on here. That just tells us the date that we got the roof all completed. So when it comes back for inspections, you know, we can see how the roof's performing. Also, if the owner goes to sell the coach, you know, I don't want anybody trying to talk them down. So, you know, some people say, oh, these roofs are terrible. You know, RV roofs are terrible. Well, we can say, hey, you just put that on October 21, you know. So we've got everything all tied together. I showed you the slide outs. And then we got our stands in the back. That just gives it some balance for our curbs. And then we put this counter flash on here so the water will go down. And I don't want, there's a foam gasket up underneath there.
So I don't want all that water rushing down, getting into that foam gasket. Now there is a piece of counter flash on the curb, and this goes below that counter flash. This is counter flash right here. So there's your flashing, this is counter flashing. So that piece goes down below this, so all that water will roll out, so it won't be able to get up into the gasket or anything. I don't want the, you know, if we didn't have that, then the water could trickle on the top of the counter flash into that foam gasket. So you can see all the strips we've got in here. You see how we got all that, and we had to make a couple of folds over here. Got that all nice and tight. Everything is all heat welded. So the other thing we did, I don't know if we showed you this. This is an exhaust fan, and these coaches, they're just, a lot of times you'll get condensation on the lens, but it's also on the other side. And what happens when the sun comes up, it'll evaporate what's on top, but what's up underneath doesn't get evaporated. But it, you know, the frost or whatever's on there will start to condensate, and it'll roll down, and then it'll start wicking into the ceiling panels. So that's an exhaust fan. That is the intake. So that'll pull it. It just right over, okay? And it's just solar. So no one's going to get out here every time in the morning and go, oh, I gotta flip the switch on there and get the fan going. So that's why we put a solar fan in there. And then there's plumbing, and then we couldn't get a cover for this. Didn't have one, but we couldn't get a cover for this anyways. And then again, we got the two stands there. We got the counter flash. This is just a different style counter flash on this one. That's just a little different because it's a different unit. So one of these are a Dometic and one's a Coleman. I think that's the Coleman, and that one's a Dometic down there. So, and then like here, when we come around with this one, we had to pull and I heat welded this all back together. And this product, I mean, it does the best it can, but this is a really strong product. So sometimes you may end up, I don't know if you can notice that, a little tiny burp right there, but there's just no way of getting that out to try to marry up with this with a protective sheet on there to make it very much better than what it is. All the caulking, we got 2 strikes on here. 2 strikes of caulking on here, and then inside here, there's an insert trim. See the groove? That will fit inside the groove on this. And then what we do, see every single screw is caulked and sealed. Every single screw has caulking all around it. So, and then this just snaps in. I like this better because it, you can see it's kind of got a little bit of a bulge to it. And then the water will come down and trickle and then go into the gutter instead of trying to get inside that track. So that's why I like that, and it just snaps right in. The typical stuff that they use, what they do, it just snaps on the inside of there, and water can still get on the bottom side of that track. But this groove here, it's real hard for it to do that for sure. So, and let's see what else we got to show you. We got our obviously our 2 refrigerator vents over there. I said skylight, and so she is done. She's ready to go. She is ready to go. See, go around the other side. Got boots for our ladders. We rebuilt the ladder. Oh, I got to show you the ladder too. I'll show you that. Let's see if I can show you down here. See how it's folded up? I put a hinge on the bottom of that ladder, and it flips down, and I put feet on the bottom, and they're adjustable. So you can flip that down, and then when you flip it down, all your weight when you're walking up on the ladder is on the ground instead of pulling on here. On these. Oh, so obviously you've got boots in here all sealed up. Again, 2 strikes caulking all over everything. One around the top of the awning right here, the awning rail right here. Let me take this camera back here, and all around there. And then same thing here. What we had to do is just tuck and fold this right here. We tuck, folded, and welded that. And this is the, like I said, there's the fan, there's the intake. So there's a trough that goes in here. And from there, there's a trough. I took that off so you could see it. You notice no screws. We don't put screws in anymore. The glue we use will hold this down. You are not pulling this out. You try to take this up, you'll shatter that thing to pieces. You did not want an antenna. So what we did is we put an A right there, just in case somebody decides to want to. There's the wire, and we can move it around. At least we can find the wire and go from there. And then right here, if you're looking at this coach, you can see how it goes this way, then it goes down. It also has camber. This is a great product, but it doesn't want to do all that dancing like that thin, cheap stuff. So sometimes when you start rolling it out, you'll get, if I were to roll it out just this additional 4 feet, I'd have a terrible bubble out there. So we just heat welded another sheet right to it. I welded 4 inches on there, so it's not going anywhere. So we are ready to go. We are ready to go. I think we got everything here.
and I got a care package I'll show you. So we make these videos for the customer so the customer can see all the work we've done. These aren't DIY videos, so I try to go over some things that, and a lot of people come a long way. They come a long way to, I'm grabbing this box right here. They come a long way to have us do a coach. I can't remember where these folks are from, but we put a care package together. I'd like to see this coach come back 30 to 60 days, you know, so we can at least see how it's doing. It's new, it's fresh, and it's going to move, it's going to rack, twist, just anything. And if I get another coach just like this one, it's going to rack, twist, and flex differently. So I want to make sure we're doing everything the owner paid us to do. So some folks say, hey, I'm pretty handy, I can do it myself. Well, you know, if that's the case, I just don't want anybody to get upset and say, hey, you know, this happened and it's something we could fix. Hey, you need another strike of caulking because maybe something loosened up. And then they don't do it, and then they don't bring it back, and then something happens. They go, hey, well, you got to fix all this. So that's not quite fair to me either. So we would just, then after you come back, the initial inspection, you come back once a year. That's how it works, and you keep coming back. There's a 20-year roof system, so come back every year, and we renew the warranty every single year. So this is basically a what they call an inspection tool, a checker tool, I call it. That's all it is. And what you do is you just go around here like this, and you just drag it. And if it were to pop in, see how that slipped off? That's a real slick weld. But that's what you're supposed to do, you check it. So we'll say this thing goes inside there, and you go, hey, that's a little bit. That's not the end of the world. So what we have, I'm gonna leave them with some caulking as well. This is a primer. So you just wash that out, make sure there's no dirt in there. Take a little primer, leave them with a brush, and put some primer in there, and then put some caulking on it. It'll hold. And then when you bring it to us, we'll fix it. So that's what that's all about. There's the primer for that. And then I'll explain how we do a patch as well. So we'll say a tree branch just hits, boom, right here, bam. Man, we already watched this roof enough times. So we'll say it hits right here. Now you got a hole there. So what you want to do is take if you have to open the hole up a little bit, you take the tip of the caulking gun, you put it in there, and you go squirt, 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 squirt all the way around, squeeze it, it'll bubble up, and then even if it's raining out, the stuff we use is all moisture cured, you can use it in the rain. So then if you need to put the patch on when it gets dry, you're going to put your patch down, trace it with a pen. Once you trace it with a pen, you'll have obviously your pen line there. You're going to take your primer, and you're going to go around that whole perimeter of the square, but then you're going to go in the center as well. You want all that primed, plus about 3/8 or so, a little bit over that ink line, a little bit over. So if this being 6 by 6, you'd want to make sure you had like maybe 6 3/4 by 6 3/4 of primer. So on the back of these is a film, and you can peel it. You just line it up with your ink line, and you reach up underneath nice and easy, and you take your other hand, and you just keep trying to smooth it out as you're pulling it with the pulling the film off, and then your other hand you're smoothing it all at the same time, and it'll come out nice. Now once you get that done, it's down, it's stuck. Then what you do is you put some more primer on top of here around the perimeter of this. So now you have it on the main, and you're going to have it on here, and you're going to take that caulking and you're going to go around and you can patch it. So that's a pretty good band-aid. It's if the customer brings it back to us, then we'll put a heat patch on it. We'll do that for them, and that's what these are. So I put on here what it is. This is a heat patch, and also it's Carlisle Sure Weld. So I don't want somebody to, if they can't get it to us and they go, hey, we have to get it to somebody, when you bring it to us, we'll do it for free. But if you have to and you get connected with another commercial contractor, TPO is not all compatible. You have to use the same product. So this is Carlisle, you have to use Carlisle. You can't use GAF on it. You can't use Firestone on it. They're not interchangeable. So that's why I put that there. So if he can't put the patch on, or again, if he can't get it to us, I don't want another contractor saying, oh yeah, they're all the same, and then they put it on, it'll peel right off. So the chemistry on the TPO is off just enough where it won't adhere. It'll seem like it will, but then after it cures out, you just peel it right up. So that's why we left them with these. So at least he has the material in the case of an emergency. So we also left, we get some magnets, got some pens right here. The pens are kind of cool. I don't know if I can do this one-handed. I'll see, I'll put this down and try it. See if you can see our pen. It opens up like that. It goes back in, and then all our information is right here. So here's all that. We also got a key tag, key tag, or you know, call it, got a good carabiner on it, beverage opener, and a nice little leather strap there. That's a heavy duty one. So we got a couple of those in there, some pens. Like I said, there's a couple magnets in there. There's a brush. So all of this going back in. And then there's the 2 patches. Here's the other one right here. We got 2 patches of that, and we got 2 patches here. So here's the product right here. This is a sample. If you want one, then you can call us and we'll send you one out. But this is a 60 mil TPO. That's what it is. And right here at the top, see, you can see that little fiber in there. That little fiber, that's the reinforcement that they put in there. And if you look at it real good, you'll probably see, even on the main membrane here that we have, you'll probably see little tiny squares like a screen inside there. And that's what it's for, to reinforce it. So again, this is a 60 mil. So if you decide you want one of these, or if you'd like one of these, we embossed it on here. We'll throw that in there. So if you need one. And then, like I said, we'll put the primer in there, and we put the checker tool in there. We also got a decal we'll probably put on the back of the coach if the customer doesn't mind. And I'm going to get out and show you how that ladder works real quick. But other than that, that's the gist of it. So also keep in mind, we do not quote on social media. So if you have any questions in regards to pricing, you're going to have to give us a call at 423-475-7663. So give us a call. And then, you know, we'll help you out with some pricing. You can email us at contact us at rvroofinstall.com. And like I said, I'm going to get down and show you that ladder. But other than that, she's ready to roll. This was a tough job. There was so much to do on here. This had a lot of everything to do on it besides the roof system, and you know, we had to get the slide out right, and then all the, you know, the Delam that we found. So, and then the only thing we could do with some of the scars that we made was to just put some vinyl on it. That's all we can do. We're not a body shop. We don't paint. So they're all epoxied together, but we're just trying to take the sore out of it. That's why we put the vinyl on there. So the customer may, down the road, may want to do something else. Maybe put a stripe on there, bring it to a shop and say, hey, just put a whatever, maybe a gold stripe way at the top if they want. I know down the other end as it turns around the front of the bunk, I know we've got vinyl on that too. So, but that's about the best we could do with it. So, let me go show you this ladder. Okay, so here's my hinge right here, and there's a set pin right there. And once you drop that down, you put the pin in and it'll stay locked. And all we do is just zip tie it, so that'll fold right down and it'll hit the ground. And then these are adjustable. You can adjust these up if you had to, depending on where you are. So that's what we did to, like you said, to take some of the stress off of here. It's a common problem. And then some of the other ones, what we've done is instead of putting a hinge on there, some of the Class C's, or even like some of these little travel trailers, see the bumper there, we'll mount it right to the bumper. We'll put an extension on there or a bracket, and we'll bring it down. So all that weight is sitting on something solid instead of just pulling, you know. But we had rebuilt all these inside here are nuts, so we took all them apart. We took all this apart, and I wanted to make sure it was nice and strong. So, well, that's our little teddy bear. We appreciate you watching. Oh, this guy here, yeah, he traveled a long way. Yeah, Michigan, that's a long way. And we appreciate it. We absolutely appreciate him coming. I want to thank the customer for bringing it to us. I know it took a while to do it, but I mean, there was a boatload of work to do. And then, you know, now the way things are, just getting supplies and everything is kind of tough. So, you know, we've been at the mercy of trying to get materials in, get supplies and everything we need. So, you know, I know it stinks, but so if you bring your coach in, you know, be aware of that we're a specialty shop, and we open a roof up. We don't know what we got. And this one, we weren't expecting nearly the work on this, nearly, not at all. But so it throws, I don't even want to call it a calendar, it throws our board off. And, you know, like I said, I don't use a calendar because we get into this. So, I mean, we stay months out, that's for sure. So, and I don't want anybody to be upset if they bring theirs in here and, you know, they go, when do you think you can get to it? Well, we may think we can get to it in whatever, you know, we'll give it, you know, roughly, hey, so many months. But it may be a few months after that. I don't know. But all I do know is that this coach came in, and I got to get this one right before I get one in here. That's not right to cheat this guy just for the sake of getting another coach in here. We don't work that way. We're not a corporate America shop. We do one coach at a time that's done correctly. And when I say one coach at a time, you can see I got 3 bays, but while something's going on here, and we're waiting for something, then we go to the next one, or we go over to this other one, or whichever we got to do, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. So like I said, we appreciate you watching, and we'll catch up with you on the next one.